Hi folks, it's good to be with you and love to everybody out there. I just want to talk about loving Muslims, and before I do, my website's jasonburnspreacher.com, and you can get me on Facebook and Twitter. Facebook, I put up Bible teachers and preachers. Twitter's more apologetic. Website's more like resources for helping you to grow in the faith. But I just want to talk about loving Muslims. And I want to just give you my views concerning dealing with Muslims. I believe when Nabil Qureshi was dying, the Christian apologist, he said, make sure that you do your ministry in love. And I strongly believe that when we're doing ministry, when we're doing preaching, apologetics, when we're defending the faith, when we're preaching the gospel, we have to do it in love. And I don't agree with this far-right movement, the way they're dealing with Islam in some ways. I do believe, I'm going to explain why, I do believe that Islam is a theocracy in its totality. And I believe that in some years to come there will be a push to make Britain a theocracy, an Islamic theocracy. I do believe Sharia law will be pushed upon us. I do believe that. I do believe that Islam teaches jihadism, so theocracy and jihadism. I believe that this is part of Islam. But I do not agree with having anger towards Muslim people. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with having anger towards Muslim people. I don't agree with using Islam to either jumping on a bandwagon where you're attacking Islam to give yourself notoriety. You know, there are people out there who are attacking Islam on the right and in Christian circles, and it gives them notoriety. People flock to this because they're frustrated with their own culture, they've lost their own identity, and then they see these strong characters attacking Islam, and they flock to the banner and they find an identity. And I don't agree with that. I don't agree with using Islam and bashing Islam in order to promote oneself, in order to promote your own cause, your own notoriety. I just don't agree with that. I don't agree with, for example, Tommy Robinson, even though I like him as a person, but I don't agree with his show, where on his show he's embarking on taking the mick out of Islam, where he's reading verses and just mocking Islam, mocking Muhammad. I don't agree with that. I think you should be respectful to other people's religion. You can do rhetorical mocking where you're doing it from a scholarly point of view. You know, I've been in debates and I've rhetorically mocked, but I've done it in a way to present some scholarship. But I don't agree with just mocking for the sake of mocking to offend Muslim people or anybody. So I don't agree with Tommy Robinson where he's just mocking in a very disrespectful way Islam on his show. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with Jada in Britain First when she lifts up a cross and she says to Ali Dawah, you know, be it known, we are your combatants. That's not Christianity. That, to me, that's a mockery of Christianity. Christianity is about wanting to see people saved, wanting to win people over to Jesus, not about bashing people. So, you know, for me, if I deal with Islam in any way, it's from an academic, scholarly point of view. I'm just merely pointing out some. When I did my series today on Ali Dawa, I'm not doing it out of hatred towards him or hatred towards Muslims. I'm doing it out of a genuine scholarly concern that I want the truth to be known, that Islam does have a doctrine of jihadism. Not out of to want to demonize Muslims or even demonize Islam, but out of wanting to show what the truth is. You know. That's not hiding from the problems. There is problems. There will be a time when Britain will be made to come under Sharia law, and politically there will have to be a resistance towards that. The doctrine of jihadism is a dangerous doctrine within Islam. But we have to be honest and fair. Our foreign policy, the fact that we've invaded Afghanistan and Iraq and Iran and Syria and these places, our foreign policy exacerbates jihadism, Islamic jihadism. Also, you've got to think of the many, many Muslims within British society that are doing good, that are genuinely honest, abiding citizens. And you have to look for the best in people, the best in communities, and try to build, first of all, try to build bridges of peace. Try to understand, first of all, try to build bridges of peace and understanding first. Rather than push people away and demonize them and create conflict and create division within society, we have to try at least be peacemakers and try to see the best in people. The reality is we will be pushed to be coming under Sharia law. There will be more and more violent jihadism. That is the reality, but how do we deal with it? How do we deal with things? We deal with it as Christians, and being a Christian is, we deal with it with love and understanding. We deal with it first of all by being peacemakers, by trying to reach out to Muslim people, by trying to win Muslim people over and get them to be converted to Jesus Christ, by giving out tracts and Bibles, by doing Christian mission to Muslims, by helping Muslims practically, caring for Muslim people, and doing what we can for Muslim people. And then there is the scholarly side where we can critique Islam, but we do it in a way that is scholarly, and it's in apologetics, defending the faith. That is legitimate. And then there is the political side. People can go into politics and try to make sure that Sharia law doesn't come in, and defend it by arguing the case why that should not be. But we have to be careful that we don't get swept up in a popularist kind of demonization of Islam that is disrespectful to Muslims and disrespectful and has the tones of violence against Muslims and tone of violence against Islam. Because that is not Christianity, and that is not a civilized way to go about. But that is a way, that is a showing weakness, because what you're saying is you're frustrated and you can't deal with it in any other way but by mocking and humiliating another group and demonizing another group. You in the end become like what you're trying to demonize. You become what you try to demonize. And you've got to be careful that we're not taken in by people who want notoriety and who use Christianity or want notoriety. And they know if they attack Islam, it'll bring them notoriety, and you can be swept up in that without realizing it. But we have to be true Christians, true childs of God, where we walk around with love and we walk around wanting to reach out to people. There are times when we have to stand up, and we need to stand up. But we also have to make sure that we do it in love.